Hello, welcome to this video on prefabs. So in this video, we're going to look at how to create prefabs. We use existing objects to create prefabs. We will see how prefabs are templates for objects. We'll use prefabs to place some objects in the scene, and then we will also talk about prefab overrides. So just the overview of prefabs here. So let's start by making a prefab, and we'll talk about what they are. So in our assets folder, let's go make a new folder called prefabs, because unlike these game objects that are in the scene, a prefab actually exists outside of the scene. It's actually an asset that's saved in your file system. So open up the prefabs folder, take the coin, and drag and drop it in the prefabs folder. And notice that that coin that we dragged, it turned blue, and now we have this coin prefab in the folder here. And so what we've done is we've made a template for a coin. Notice what I can do. I can actually take this coin from the assets folder, drag and drop it in the scene anywhere I want. And actually now I'm putting a whole bunch of coins in, and every single one of these coins that I put in, so take a look at this coin here, right? It has all the same properties except for the position. All the same properties as the original prefab. And you can actually double click on this prefab in the assets folder, and here you go. Here is the details for this prefab here. So if any changes you make to this prefab will be applied to all of the objects in the scene that follow that prefab, that are made using that prefab. So let's just see one more thing we can do here. Just to illustrate something about prefabs that I want to highlight. So let's go make a new script. I'm going to call it a rotate script. Let's go rotate. There we go. And I'm going to double click on that script to open it up. And this is a script I'm going to add to a coin just to make it rotate. So I could make this a lot fancier if I wanted to. I'll just go serialized field, private float, rotate speed. I'll make a very basic rotation script here, and in update, let's just make it rotate. So if you want to pause right now and just see if you can figure out what method you'd make to make the coin rotate, you can. But so good job if you pause. If you didn't, let's just write it down. We'll go transform.rotate, and we'll put a vector 3. Now this is the rotation axis. So if you imagine a wheel rotating around an axis, this is a vector 3 that represents that axis. So you're going to write vector 3 dot up. So that's the vertical axis times the speed, and we'll multiply by time dot delta time. Okay, let's save that. We'll add this rotate script to a coin. So let's add this rotate script I'll add it to this coin up here. There we go. We have rotate speed. I'll make it, I think 180 will be one rotation every 2 seconds. Let's just set the player speed to 0 so we can just appreciate what's going on here. So I'll press play. And first of all, nothing's rotating. So this isn't a prefab issue, because if I click on coin, it does have the rotate script. What's actually happening here is that this coin, let's look close. That coin is actually rotating, we can see, right? There's the collider moving. So it's rotating around an axis that's not what I would expect to be the up axis, right? This is actually rotating around the coin's up axis. So here, if I click on the coin, I have this global. This is the global coordinates, so y is up. But click on local, notice that the x and the z are rotating around the y axis, which is forward. So I actually want to rotate around the world space y. And so what I need to do with my rotate script is I can add a second argument, right, which is the space.world. So space.world is the value I'm going to put in there, which says, do you want to rotate around world space or local space? So I'm going to do world space. So save that, go back to Unity, and press play again. And now the coin is rotating in world space. But still, the point of a prefab is that I should be able to add a script to one of the prefabs, and it should, or to the prefab, and it should apply to everything. So why isn't it? Well, as it turns out, if I look at the prefab in the prefab editor here, the prefab doesn't have the rotate script on it. It's just this one coin that has the rotate script. And if I press stop and take a look at this rotate script, you'll notice there's a little green plus right here. It's very small. Let me make sure you can see it there. It's a green plus right there beside the rotate script. It's on the little script icon. That's saying this is something that's been added to this specific game object, but not the entire prefab. And so that's called a prefab override. If I go to overrides, I can click on overrides here, and I can see, hey, sure enough, on the coin in the scene, there is this specific override applied to this one game object. That's the rotate script. So I can either revert all and take away all the rotate scripts, or apply all, or just leave it on this one. I'm going to click apply all, and now when I press play, right now every coin has this rotate script. So this one's not rotating because that doesn't actually that's not actually linked to the prefab. So I can just delete that one and add it in again and move it where I want it, and there we go. Now I have all these prefabs following along. So your challenge for this video is to create a prefab for both the coin and the obstacle, to place multiple coins and obstacles in your scene, and just take a look at the little plus and make sure that you know what that plus means on the prefabs for prefab overrides. So just play around with prefab overrides and see if you can understand how that's working. Okay, I'll let you pause the video and try the challenge. All right, good job for trying the challenge. So let's just see how we could make this obstacle a prefab. So let's drag obstacle and let's drag it in the prefabs folder. There we go, it's a prefab. That's all it took. And this one has automatically been converted, but now I can add more in. Okay, that's very nice. And if we press play, they should hopefully all be working just as expected. Okay, so if I take my player and drag it through some coins, right, I'm getting lots of coins here, and the amount of money every time is going up, and then it goes down every time I hit an obstacle, even these different ones out here. So that looks like it's working really well. Okay, that's great. So that's working, but now we actually have lost our ability to distinguish whether this prefab is a 5 or a 10. So just a little aside here, right? What I can actually do is I can right click on coin, and no, it's not going to be there. Yes, it is. I think if I right click on coin here, go to create prefab variant, right? This is a coin variant. I can call this a coin dash 5 maybe, and make a new prefab variant as well, and call this a coin dash 10. Right, and so I can double click on this coin 5, make the default value for this one have 5, and maybe the 5s rotate at a pretty slow speed. They rotate at 45. And a coin 10, well, that's worth 10, and it rotates a lot faster at 180. Right, and what if I take all these coins out, right, and put some more coin 5s in and some coin 10s in. Right, now I have prefab variants that are just variations, and hopefully they look a little bit like you can distinguish them a little bit. Let's move them around here. I won't take too much time moving these around, but I'll just make sure that they are mostly. We'll just make sure they're working here. Okay, that'll be good. So if I press play, we'll just make sure those are working. Okay, so if we notice these fast spinning ones, those should be the 10s. If I click on a 10, if I run into a 10 here, I get 10. If I run into a 5, come way around, hit a 5, then I only get 5 points. So that's great. So this could be a good chance for you to make some prefab variants, both for your obstacles and for your coins, and set those in the scene. And also, this would be a good chance to actually expand your level a little bit and make it a bit more interesting. Because right now my level doesn't make a lot of sense. You might want to set it up so it's a bit more challenging and a bit funner to play. So that's a good chance to do that. For now, I will just leave you to it, let you work on your project, and we'll see you in the next video.